was watching something. There's that guy we were talking about earlier about the SEO person. I can't remember what his name now.
His name was Greg Gifford.
Greg Kivet, yeah. So he did that. He did. Oh, hello, Paul. Here's Paul. So he did that at the end of his little video. He go like, yeah, put your hand there, and then he goes, boom. Yeah, we just did a virtual high five. I just nicked it. Oh, that's quite good. It's different. Oh, hello, Paul. How you doing? Good.
See you, mate.
I'm not going to do it again. You're missing out on my high five trick. But it does work. It does work. So anyway, just a bit of an unusual start of today's webinar, that's for sure. But my name's Edward van der Klein. I'm International Sales Director, Partner Mentor, and also GDB within Blam. If you don't know what GDB means, I will tell you later. So really appreciate you guys spending some time with us here today.
I don't know what GDB means.
General Dog's Body.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah, I really appreciate you spending some time with us. It's going to be fairly relaxed, but yeah, I know it's going to take about 55 minutes for the presentation, and if you're then kind of still interested, we can sort of talk a bit more. We're doing a Q&A as well afterwards. But I just wanted to let you know, guys, this is informational. There's going to be some interesting insights about, how we got to where we are today and how we foresee the future. But super excited you're spending some time with us. The goal is to share this info, and if you're then still interested, we can set up another call at some other time next week. So, but in the meantime, I'm going to hand over to Grant, who's going to do the presentation. Grant Steen, CEO of Blam. Boston Brome, how you doing? I'm terrible. I'm from the Netherlands. I can't talk. I've got a funny accent.
You don't do a very good impression of a Dutchman.
Isn't it? No,
your Brummie's better than your Dutch, mate.
I can put on a Dutch accent if you want me to.
There you
go. As my Dutch friends have been schaatsen on the ice, skating on the ice. Very Dutch, it's really super Dutch sort of scenes with the windmills and the skating in the background. we call it Uber Dutch. No, that's German. But anyway, I'm going to hand you over to Grant. He's going to tell you a bit more about the Blam Partnership Program, how we got to where we are today, what's in store for the future. I'm super excited. As you can see, a bit energized. Probably had too many coffees today.
It's because he's got a day off tomorrow. I'm well anticipating getting interrupted a lot by Ed in this presentation today.
I'm going to put myself on mute. I'm going to put myself on mute today. So there you go. I'm gone. See you. Have fun with the presentation. I'll be. Oh, by the way, I'm in the chat on the side. Any questions during the presentation, just drop a message there. But I'll be bothering you instead with high fives in the chat.
Brilliant. Awesome. Thanks, Ed, and thanks for that intro. And welcome, guys. As Ed said, typically what happens on these presentations is we'll get people coming in throughout the presentation. So you'll hear a few bings and bongs. Don't worry about that. It's just people joining as we're going through. And as Ed said, if you've got questions as you're going through, use the chat. He'll be curating so we can kind of chip it in and out. It is kind of interactive, so get ready with the chat when the sort of questions that go through. But as Ed said, my name's Grant. I'm the CEO here at Blam. My goal today is to give you more of an insight into digital marketing, about what's been going on over the last 12 months in relation to digital marketing. And really our goal is to give you information, help about how you can potentially run your own digital marketing agency. It may be that you want to look into the Blam Partnership further, and at the end you'll get an opportunity to do that. Or it might be that you just want to take the information that we give and run with it. And whatever is good with you, I think your gut feeling is key. So if you like the sound of what we talk about, and you like the sound of the Blam Partnership, we'd be more than happy to do a deep dive to give you some more detail on how that all works. So without further ado, let's first of all start by stating the obvious. Everything's changed, doesn't it? In fact, it's almost kind of, I'm just thinking about this time last year when I was doing presentations. We were just at that point, weren't we, where we were kind of blissfully ignorant of what was about to come. Just about a year ago, we were in that position. We kind of heard of this virus, but we didn't really know what was going to happen. And so, but now here we are 12 months later, and everything's changed. And what I think we can now safely say that it's not just now. We're not just living with this in the short term. We're going to see some long-term changes as a result of the pandemic. And I bet you are wondering how you can secure your future in this new world that we're looking at in these new times. And I've no doubt that the reason that you've made it onto this presentation is because you've identified that digital marketing in particular is the future. It's the way that you can secure your future, and take away some of that worry, knowing that you're in a business. What was that then, Ed? You said you were going to mute yourself.
The dog.
Was that the dog? Yeah, it was the dog. It's stuck in a mine shaft. It's that like kind of look, isn't it? That's a reference to Lassie. Anybody who's old enough to remember it. But yeah, we're all looking like that. We're thinking, how can we secure our future? And what I'm here to tell you guys, as you've no doubt already noticed, is that digital marketing is now the only way, if you're going to be in business, that you can secure your future. And that means it doesn't matter what business you are in, we need to leverage digital marketing now more than ever. Particularly, I mean, we're in the UK here. We're based in the Midlands. We're in lockdown still at the moment. Who knows how long that's going to last? It's here for a while. And throughout the last 12 months, digital marketing has been the thing that all small and medium-sized businesses have had to take a huge learning curve on in order to do trade. They couldn't trade without it. And so, but it's not just the business owners that have had to go through this learning curve. It's also us as consumers. In fact, one of the crazy stats that came out of the pandemic is in the first 90 days of lockdown, the first lockdown, we saw the acceleration of the use of digital marketing, the equivalent of 10 years worth of growth in the space of 90 days. It's a crazy statistic. And as a result of that, it means that businesses, consumers are now all well aware that if they have not got a digital marketing strategy, then they basically haven't got a business. So I'm here to say that you're in the right place if you're looking to secure your long-term business future, looking in this area, because it's not going anywhere. And for us, it's been a journey. Now, as a result of the products, services, and tools that we provide as Blam and our partners provide, and by the way, our Blam partners, just so you know, they've all got their own business, they've all got their own digital marketing agency, and they use our tools, back office team, you know, our designers and developers and our sort of tech support and everything as their back office. But they promote themselves as their own business, usually locally to their local audience of small to medium-sized business owners. But they leverage the Blam certified partner training and certification as their credibility builder to show that they're not just a small business, they've got the backing of a bigger organization. And it's our job to support those partners, give them all the training, the motivation, the education, the systems, the tools, and the ongoing support and development of their products so that they can just focus on growing their business. And that's really the crux of what we do. So over the last 12 months, you know, since the pandemic started, we found that Blam partners really are leading the way in the marketplace. We've seen huge growth. We've seen so many success stories over the last 12 months. And some might say, well, you're in digital marketing, obviously, you know, there's massive demand for it, more than there's ever been, because it's been the, you know, the thing that every business has needed. And yet, even again, a friend of mine who runs a digital agency, who I spoke to last week, is now half the size of her business that she had at the beginning of lockdown. It's not every digital agency that has been able to leverage the circumstance that we've been through. There are lots of businesses that have had to make redundancies. They've had to furlough their staff who are in the digital marketing space that have suffered as a result of the pandemic, much like many other businesses. So why is it that Blam and the Blam partners have seen huge growth? We're 200% up in profits on a 12-month basis based on where we were before, despite going through a big recession that the pandemic has caused, a downturn in business. Some of our key sectors, leisure's a big sector for us. Hairdressers have been shut. A lot of these are businesses that we service. Why is it then that we've been able to grow where other businesses haven't? And that's what I'm going to talk to you about today, guys, because I think it's a really important lesson to learn. And I'm going to say it with some sensitivity. I don't want to be smug about it, because it's been really hard work. We've absolutely, all worked like maniacs for the past 12 months to achieve those results, as have Blam partners. But there is certain things that we've done in order to help more and more small and medium-sized businesses that I'm going to share with you now, in the hope that you can kind of learn from that and leverage it yourself, perhaps, or you'll be more encouraged to come and see what else that we can offer you in terms of Blam partnership package. So, but it all starts with a bit of history. Actually, it goes way back. Now, who is this fine young man, Ed, I wonder, leaning against his flash car, looking all smug and and looking like a bit of a smarmy.
Did you even kind of pretend to be sort of racing drivers there with your names on the side?
Well, that was my. I did that.
You had a co-driver.
I had a co-driver. Yeah, because we drove to Le Mans. That was actually my creative director and me. Back in sort of 2007, I think that was.
Did you wear your helmets and everything? With the mics and the. No,
well, we were both petrol heads back then. So me and my creative director Dave, and we actually.
Oh, it was Dave. Yeah, I know Dave.
Dave. Yeah, but he still works for us, doesn't he? Yeah. So, but cars were my thing back then. But that was me with my digital agency. So that was the livery of the digital agency all down the side.
And that was in what, 2005. Looking at the license plate.
2007, I think that picture was taken. Yeah. So and that was me thinking that I had the whole sort of entrepreneurial thing sorted. I had this really cool business that was growing nicely. All the good stuff that goes with it. Great staff, really good team. That's my barn conversion offices. And life was good as far as I could see. I worked hard. But I worked hard to service these businesses, and these were the kind of businesses that were my clients. Now, for those of you that are in the UK, obviously we have people from all over the world see this presentation. Halfords you may not recognise, but they're the biggest automotive retailer and bicycle retailer in the UK. Big company. They were kind of my main customer. I spent a lot of time working with their marketing department, working on all their marketing strategy. We were pretty much exclusively their marketing department, really. We produced all of their literature, their materials, their photography, their microsites, their websites, their marketing campaigns. Vodafone. Microsites. Remember microsites?
Microsites.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah. And
it's all landing pages and funnels now.
It is. But back in those days, so we're talking sort of from 2001 onwards, these big businesses were my bread and butter, and they used to pay, the business a lot of money for the work that we provide. We were early adopters into the digital marketing side of things. And you know what? It was great. I would go into Halfords as an example, and I would sit with the marketing team. They'd give me a brief. I'd go back and I'd quote the brief. They'd give me the go ahead on the job. I'd brief it into the studio. The team would undertake the work. And when it was completed, I'd send in an invoice, and we'd get paid typically 30 to 60 days later. And that was back in the days of checks. Remember checks? I used to get a check back then. And that was the way we did it. And do you know what, guys? That is still the way most digital agencies run their business. That's kind of the way it works. And what I found out to great cost is that was a big mistake for me, because I had all of my eggs in one basket. I was very, very busy growing that business, but just with a few customers using that exact business model. We were getting paid on the work that we produced, and then we'd need to go and win some more work. And it kept going. So we were always working to get more work. And in 2008, when the big recession happened, some of you may remember it, the global economic downturn, as they talked about it, when all the banks were going bust and it was mayhem in the stock market. Well, let me tell you what happened to me, because, in principle, you would have thought I didn't work for any banks. We didn't have any banks on our books. We didn't service any of these sort of real estate companies that were going bust. And yet, the businesses that I did work with, who didn't see a huge downturn in their profits, decided that because we were in a recession, they needed to reduce their budgets. They needed to hunker down. They needed to see where they could cut costs. And one of their big costs in marketing was me. And they looked at that and said, right, we need to really reduce costs here. We need to take some of that in-house. We need to actually make cuts in marketing, because we're going into a recession, and that means, we're all going to be in trouble if we keep spending money. And this happens in a recession every time, guys. Fear rules. And for my business, that meant that I went from having a steady flow of work that was growing, that I was going out and pitching for and winning, to it drying up to just a dribble, from a waterfall down to a little drip. And that hit me hard, because when you've got a big business or a growing business that relies on that flow, when it stops, the overheads are the same. I've still got all my staff. I've still got my own salary and my rent and all the taxes and everything to pay, and yet I've got no work coming in. And that hit me hard, guys. And I've got to tell you, it was one of the worst things that ever happened to me, because over a period of a few short months, I went from having what looked like a super successful business to having to make redundancies en masse, to not having had a salary for months. I had to sell my car. I had to really, really cut costs and hunker down. And it was tough. I've got to tell you, one of the worst things I've ever had to do is sit across the boardroom table and make redundancies, tell people I can't afford to employ them anymore. These people have been my friends for years. And it was really hard, guys. I hung on to that business by the skin of my teeth. But, when I came out of it, or when I started to see the light at the end of the tunnel, I started looking at my business and really analysing it, because you know what I found out? There have been 34 recessions since 1854. Now we're in the 34th recession now, this double dip recession that's been caused by a pandemic that's pretty rare, it's pretty unusual, let's face it. But we knew there was a recession coming, because every 10 to 15 years there is a recession. It's the cycle of the economy. We know it's coming. And if you've got a business model, as I had, that falls over and means the business contracts massively every time there is a recession, because the same things happen in a recession every time, guys. Small businesses, businesses the world over, reduce their budgets. They hunker down. We've just seen it in the last recession. The amount of businesses that hold on to their money, they put their staff on furlough without even, thinking whether they need to or not. We've seen it, mass-wide. Fear rules. And I knew that if I didn't have a business that could cope with that scenario, then I haven't got a business at all. I'm just doomed to go through these next few recessions doing the same thing, and just maybe getting through it if I'm lucky, which is what we've seen. So when I studied the businesses that were successful, I noticed that they expanded, not contracted, in a recession. Now that didn't make sense to me. I think, well, how can they do that? How can these businesses expand when everybody else is contracting? How do they do that? And it really hit home when I looked at one of my clients who'd come to me in my digital marketing agency. When the recession kicked off, he came to me, a guy called Martin, and he said, Grant, I want to double my marketing budget with you. I'm like, Martin, that's brilliant news, mate, but why are you doing that? Everybody else is cutting their budgets. And Martin was, he was a mature businessman. He said, I've been through several recessions before. I know what happens in a recession. All of my competition are going to reduce their advertising and marketing spend. I want to double mine, because what I'm going to do is, while they reduce their costs, their spending, I'm going to mop up all their customers. And when we come out of this recession, and we will, I'm going to have all their customers, and I'm going to clean up. And you know what? That's exactly what he did. And within 3 years, he'd retired, having sold the business to one of his competition, as it would happen. Much better off as a consequence of investing, expanding during that recession. And And that taught me a big lesson. So I set about restructuring my business. I actually set up a new business as well, which was an app development company. And I set up that business specifically to aim at the small business market, whereas instead of going after just a handful of big customers where I had to win each job one at a time, I worked on a model where I sold a mobile app to a small business where I just took a small amount of money from them monthly, knowing that it wasn't going to hit them hard. And in a recession, it wasn't a large amount of money for them to have to worry about. So they're much less likely to cancel the contract. And I sold hundreds and hundreds of these apps to small businesses, and that business grew rapidly. And I went from just having a business where there were just a few customers to having hundreds of customers, all paying a small amount of money. And I actually franchised that business, and it was the fastest growing franchise in the UK in 2012. And we expanded that business overseas. And that business really is the foundation of what we do at Blam now. That's the business that taught me a lot of lessons, because that's when I really started working with small businesses, which is who we target mainly now, small to medium-sized businesses. And I kind of fell in love with dealing with small business owners, because they're the same as me. I'm a small business owner, really. You know, we're not big, or we've certainly got a small business mentality. We love talking to other entrepreneurs. And the one thing that really shocked me in those early days of helping those small businesses, having worked with all these big blue chip marketing departments for so many years, is that small business owners didn't really understand marketing properly. And I asked the question to my team, how can we help all these businesses? We've got so many customers now. How can we help these small businesses use big business tech that we're used to using with our big business marketing departments, but make it affordable for them so that they can get the benefits, give it a level playing field? And that all starts by giving them a website that's got the tech in it that helps them convert customers, that helps them keep customers on their websites and actually get results, which most small business owners haven't got a clue about. Well, my team said, well, that's great, Grant, but we charge £10,000 plus for one of these websites. We can't do it for any less. There's a lot of work goes into them. And I pushed, said, guys, we've got to find a way of getting one of these, a website that's got that kind of tech in it, but we've got to get it to less than £1,000, because a small business owner, they're not going to be able to leverage the value out of it unless we make it affordable to them, accessible. So this went on for a while, but it was 2013, November 2013, that I sat down with my lead developer, Carl, in front of the Mac one rainy night, and he showed me what he'd been working on. He said, Grant, check this out. He said, we can actually build a website like this. And he showed me the website that's got the tech in that you want. And we can do this for less than £1,000, which was the benchmark that we'd set. And I remember it because for me, that was kind of like my epiphany moment. I knew that a website is the foundation of a marketing strategy for a small business owner. Apps are brilliant. They're great as a tool, but all roads lead to a website. And if we can give small businesses that tool, that foundation, then everything else can be built on top of it. And it's what small businesses really need. And we call that the start of the AI website revolution, because AI, artificial intelligence, that is the technology that we really wanted to get into websites and make it affordable. Because artificial intelligence in websites actually has been around for a while. It really has. But leveraging that technology and utilizing it in an affordable way is still not something that anybody else is doing. And our websites have come such a long way since that November in 2013. And we're so proud of them. But they are the foundation of what we teach at Blam as marketing consultants, as advisors, as trusted advisors to our clients. Because when it comes to helping our clients, we want to give them the best tools and we want to give them the best advice. And with marketing, it does start with a website. And if that website has got AI built into it from the beginning, then we've got the right foundation for them to be able to build a strategy on top of it. So with that in mind, what I'm going to do is tell you a little bit about AI websites and explain why we use it as the foundation at Blam for our partners to be able to sell more and more often, and to give the right advice to our customers, so that we're not sort of selling them smoke and mirrors, or, you know, giving them bad advice, as so many marketing consultants and digital agencies do. Unfortunately, I'm sort of quite embarrassed to say that the industry that we are in is fraught with smoke and mirrors, with people that are giving bad advice and don't really know what they're talking about. We come across it all the time. And our goal is to deliver exceptional quality products with the right advice, and not use any kind of blinding people with science. We've got to keep it simple, guys. And the AI website is where it starts for us, because an artificial intelligent website is what we call, it's our USP, our unique selling point. And if you've got a unique selling point, it means you've got a conversation starter. You put yourself in a category of one. We call it a blue ocean, where, you know, you've got the ocean to yourself. It's completely blue. You can eat as many fish as you like. Whereas if you're in the red ocean, you know, you're fighting with all the other sharks over the same fish. And that's kind of blue ocean thinking, is a marketing theory. That's a good book, actually. It might be worth you reading. But we're in a blue ocean because nobody else is saying, yeah, we're the AI website, guys. So
I've dropped a link to the book in there.
Oh, brilliant. Nice one. Thanks,
And
Ed.
it's a nice little infographic as well. What is blue ocean strategy? And
That's a nice little metaphor, isn't it? You know, the blue ocean thinking.
yeah, I'd never heard of it before, but it makes complete sense. And I want to show you guys as well, if you're interested. You know, how we really sort of carved out a little niche in this sort of this wide world of web design and digital marketing, and how you fit in there.
Yeah.
It's really quite interesting, actually.
Yeah, and Ed can talk about that on the deep dive. I mean, in a nutshell, though, imagine you're at a networking event and there's, you know, 2 or 3 other web developers there, or web designers, and somebody asks you, what do you do? And you say, well, I help small businesses grow their business online using AI websites. Every time you say that to somebody, they go, oh, AI websites, what's all that about then? Whereas all the other people in the room that are in marketing or web design are going to say, yeah, we're the website designer, or we do digital marketing. They're all in the red ocean fighting over the same fish. Whereas,
yeah, I mean, it's kind of the superfood analogy, isn't it? You know, I mean, eating an apple a day has been good for years, but now you got to have kale with goji berries, because, you know, somehow that's going to make you healthy. Apple a day is good.
Brilliant. So let me just show you a little bit about AI websites, guys. And as I say, I'm going to whiz through this, because if you want to find out more about this in detail, Ed can book you in and do what we call a deep dive. So he's going to drop a link into the chat. If you click on that link, it takes you through to his diary, and you can choose a time that suits you. He's got tomorrow off, so give him tomorrow off. That's why he's overexcitable today. What are you going to do tomorrow, Ed?
Well,
do anything nice?
I was actually just saying that to Haley. It is actually National Wine Drinking Day in the USA at the moment, so I think we're going to have to just do that.
That's it. It's rude not to, isn't it?
I feel like a party, you know, just a party, just to go mental. But anyway,
we're a way off that yet, mate. We are. We could do a Zoom thing.
Yeah, why not?
Although the last thing you want to do is talk to me again on your day off.
Well, I'm looking forward to David Rahman, so we'll check in for that.
That's true.
David Rahman, 1:30.
We'll plug that at the end today.
Definitely, yeah, it's available for everyone.
So let me tell you about AI websites, guys. So first and foremost, we track the number of visits on all of our Blam websites. And by the way, every Blam website gets this. We don't hold back. Blam websites are packed full of features. The key one we use when we're pitching to businesses, though, is AI, because it helps us engage with them and show them something unique. And so we track the number of visits, means we can give a unique message to somebody based on the number of visits. So it could be like a first-time visitor. Hey, you're a first-time visitor. Why not check out our video, or click here and see our latest offers? And by recognizing them as a first-time visitor, we've already engaged their attention. Or it might be, welcome back. You're a third time. This is the third time you visited us. Did you see this on your last visit? And so those simple little tricks that we track the number of visits can make a big difference to the engagement. And if you've got somebody engaged, they hang around longer. If they hang around longer, they're bound to take, well, they are more likely to take action. If they take action, they're more likely to become a customer. And that's what we want our websites to do, is to deliver more customers to our clients. And we use that as one of the things that we do. So then we've got a really cool thing, which is these themes around a calendar. And that means that to start with, we can have these little animations. So over Christmas, you would have seen a little animation like this, meaning that you would be able to have snow at Christmas, or we have fireworks at New Year's or Diwali or Thanksgiving, or it might be we've got like American football that bounces around on Super Bowl Sunday. We've got what have we got? We've got Halloween. We've got loads of pumpkins or ghosts. We've got stuff for autumn. We've got stuff for St. Patrick's Day. We've just had a load of stuff for Valentine's Day, all the hearts. So all these different animations and different themes, they're designed to get engagement, to hold somebody's attention. And that is really critical, because if you hold somebody's attention, you're reducing what we call on a website the bounce rate. That's somebody who looks on the website, goes, oh, this isn't for me, and goes elsewhere. And if we get their attention, we can then get them to take an action. A website's core functionality is usually we want the user to take action, and our websites are designed to get more people to do that. But it doesn't just work, around the animations and the themes. You'll notice on that little demo, we've got a Black Friday deal that was running. Again, that's been displayed based on a calendar. And what Blam partners do is that they brief us on what they want the website to do. They don't have to know anything about development, code, or anything else. They just need to know how to fill out a brief form. And that brief form comes through to our studio, and we do all the design and development. We take care of all the tech, all of the design, all the development. And we're extremely proud of our team because they do such an awesome job. In fact, I spoke to a partner this morning who's just he's a new partner. He just presented his first website, and he was almost tearing up. He was so excited about how pleased the customer was with their website, because when you've got stuff like this going on a website, it's pretty impressive for most people. They get quite excited when their own website has got this sort of stuff on it, and that's what makes it such a thrill to to sell people this kind of quality, because it makes people happy. That's a good place to be. They're even happier when they get results. So another example of what we do is geolocation. So we track where somebody is, and it's very simple. It's just a rough idea of where they are. We can track that using technology built into the website, and then deliver a message. So this example is when we were in South Africa, what seems like years ago, but it is well over a year ago now, because obviously the pandemic. But we do travel a lot, guys. So soon as the restrictions are lifted, we'll be back out traveling. We've got partners all over the world. So Ed and I do like to go abroad. No doubt we'll be bringing Alex with us as well when we start getting out there. And when we went to South Africa last time, we stopped in a place called Sandton, and anybody that visited the website, our website, in that local area, they would see this design, and it would welcome them to Sandton and say, why not come and see our free seminar that we are holding. If they were outside of Sandton, in other places around the country or the world, they wouldn't see that. They'd just see the normal website. And we could do that for all of our customers. So it could be useful for people who've got like takeaways, or people that want to appeal to a local audience where, there'd be no point giving people the option to download the takeaway app if they live, the other side of the country, but you can target it to do it for people that are local. Again, as you can imagine, that works really well for localized business. And then finally, we've got device detection. So, believe it or not, the mobile phones that we use, you can actually call people on them. I don't know whether you realize that. They're not just for using apps and surfing. And so we really try and encourage people, when they're on a mobile, if they're surfing one of our websites, we'll trigger a little notification, say, why not give us a call? Call now. The button will pop up. And that
just to sort of help you guys connect the dots a little bit. So what people can buy a website, absolutely, but if you ask people, do you want a website, they might say no to that. If you ask them, would you like more telephone calls for inbound inquiries, they would say yes to that. And that's the difference.
Yeah, great analogy. And that's what it does, because we can prove this as well, because the statistics that we get in our back office, which are really, really easy to use, much easier than Google Analytics. It's a really simple way. There's a big old number that sits there. How many calls have you had from the website? And it sits there clear as day.
Yep.
And you can all of these triggers are measured. And if you've got measurement, you can see how effective they are, and that that's where we keep our customer retention. That's why we have such high retention rates. So So these websites are really cool. Like I said, if you want to find out more, jump on a deep dive with Ed, and he'll talk about these websites and all our other products, which are numerous, which I'll tell you about shortly. But the other key thing about being, a Blam partner is that, yes, you get the cool products to use, and yes, we've got the USP, but the way in which we sell them and the way in which Blam partners make money is quite unique. And it comes down to these 3 letters. And these are the 3 letters that, quite literally changed my life. They really did. You imagine when I was telling you the story about when I had my agency, and the big recession hit, these 3 letters would have saved my business back then. It would have been, I wouldn't have had a problem. These 3 letters are the reason that throughout this pandemic, we've been just fine. We've actually grown as a business. We've not furloughed anybody. We've actually recruited. We're taking people on regularly. Why would
it's
that
maximum
be?
rock and roll, isn't it? Maximum rock and roll.
Because we love rock and roll. As simple as that. Do you know what it means, guys? Just stick it in the chat if you know what MRR stands for in this context. I personally prefer multiple Rolls Royces. That is my favoured one.
Vintage ones, vintage Rolls Royces.
Vintage. Oh, you like a vintage roller, do you?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What you want to watch is Harry Metcalf's garage. He's got an old Rolls Royce. It's like a 1970s Rolls Royce.
Wow.
And last year he bought it for next to nothing, really cheap, and then he drove it to the Arctic Circle. Really good. It was like a series of on YouTube. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I'm still a petrol head at heart, guys. Can't help it. It's my guilty pleasure, I must admit.
Even though you drive electric now, and it's just basically like a harp vehicle.
A harp. Yeah, it is a harp. What do you call it?
Transporter.
I'm a harp roadie because my daughter plays the harp, so I have to have a big estate car to get the harp in it. But anyway, I digress. Monthly recurring revenue. That's what it's all about, guys. That's the thing that turned it around for the way that I looked at business. That's why our business has just grown throughout this recession, throughout this pandemic, as has so many of our partners' businesses, because we use this to great effect. It's a motivational tool for our training. It's a motivational tool from a business point of view. If you've got a business with monthly recurring revenue, your the solidness of the business, the actual recurring revenue will keep you from being less stressed. It keeps the revenue coming in. It means that if you wake up on the first of the month and you think, oh, what have I got to do? I've got to make sales, which is what I used to do. I used to have to think myself, right, got to make sales this month. If you've got monthly recurring revenue coming in, it's not a problem if you don't, because as long as that recurring revenue covers your overheads, the pressure is off, helps you think so much more creatively. And it's what we aim for. All of our partners' first goal is, let's hit that recurring revenue target. But not only that, we also differentiate ourselves. Not only do we use the monthly recurring revenue model, we say no upfront design fee. This might sound counterintuitive to you. You think, well, if we are, not charging a design fee, how do we make a money from websites? Well, not only that, guys, we also say no contract. So again, you may be thinking to yourself, well, if you don't charge an upfront fee and you don't put people in the contract, what if they drop out? What if they stop paying? What do you do? Well, let me tell you what you do. Make more sales. That's what monthly recurring revenue does. The model that we've got, where we remove the barriers to sale by saying there's no upfront design fee, there's no annual contract, 2-year contract, 3-year contract, as some people do. Why would we need to put people in a contract if we are so confident about our product being awesome? My view is, if somebody wants to cancel their contract prematurely, they've got a good reason to do it. You're either not servicing them properly or they don't like the product. Well, we don't want to be doing either of those. So why would we need a long-winded contract? The truth is, guys, our products are very, very sticky. And the usual reason that somebody would cancel is because they've either got no money or they're going out of business. That's really the only reason they're going to cancel,
The
because
key here is also that you calculate churn into the business model. So one of the things we discuss on the deep dive is we go through some assumptions, sort of trajectory for income going forward
easy
over
for
the
you
next.
to say, mate.
Hmm?
Easy for you to say. Trajectory.
See me putting in my tea. I'm on the wine already. No, I'm just kidding. So trajectory.
There you go.
There's too many big words there. Yeah, let's just go on a deep dive and I'll show you the business plan.
Yeah. So and that's where Ed can show you why we don't need to charge an upfront design fee as well, because our monthly recurring revenue gets up to the point where you're receiving a revenue and not having to do a lot to earn it, because it's all serviced and managed by the products and services that we provide, and they're sticky because it's a fairly low commitment to somebody, and you make more sales because when somebody hasn't got to pay a big upfront fee and then you're not putting them in a contract, it makes it a bit of a no-brainer, especially when they compare it to the competition down the road who's trying to charge them $5,000 up front for the, or whatever that might be in your rand or your US Canadian, whatever it might be. Most businesses charge an upfront fee for the design, and that's why we make more sales. Makes sense, really, doesn't it? I hope so. Hopefully that makes sense to you. To understand how those numbers work, I'm going to give you a brief overview right at the end, but Ed will give you a deep dive and show you what kind of return that can give you on the model that we use. But whether you become a Blam partner or not, this stuff is still relevant. This is the way, we're leading the way with this, but this is the way we think, the world is going, because small business owners, they want the best product and they want it for the lowest risk. And that's what we provide. That is what we provide. And especially in the pandemic, that's why we've been able to, our numbers have gone up for this very reason, because the risk is low. When people are trying to hold on to the money and somebody comes along and asks them for a big chunk of cash for a new website, that gives them a lot to think about when they're fearful of what's going to happen next. Whereas somebody comes along and just offers them a payment monthly plan that's affordable to them, that's ongoing, we actually earn more money this way in the long run, by the way. You'll see when Ed works it out, when he shows you, you actually do earn more money. It's just spread out over a longer period. So in order to do this appropriately, we need a sales process, but we don't need a sales process from this guy, okay? Because this is the kind of image that springs to mind if you are one of those people like I used to be that's got a negative relationship with selling. Now, I use this picture, as an emotive picture on purpose, because quite often when Blam partners join us, and I can empathize with this massively, is they're worried about the selling process. They're worried about making sales. They're worried about how they can get leads. They're worried about, how am I going to be able to do this? And that's a legitimate argument. I mean, I was very much like that when I had my agency years ago. I used to employ salespeople. I used to have a very negative relationship with selling. But let me tell you what I found out, guys. I found out that if you are in business, you are in sales. Now, when I heard that, I argued the toss. I've got to sell you. I had a business coach that was teaching me, and I said, I don't want to be a salesperson. I want to be a CEO. I want to be the managing director. I want salespeople to work for me. And he said, well, tell me who your business heroes are then. Who do you want to be like? And I said, well, Steve Jobs was a hero of mine at the time. We're going back about 10 years now. And Richard Branson was another one. Now, these guys, the kind of guys that I held up as business heroes, didn't think of them as sales heroes. And yet, as was pointed out to me, when Steve Jobs took to the stage and presented the new, iPhone, iPad, whatever it might be, he was one of the best salespeople in the world. The difference is you didn't notice you were being sold to. Same thing with Richard Branson when he was doing one of his crazy stunts where he's, going across the world in a hot air balloon or wherever he come up with next. That's selling. That is selling. But you don't notice you're being sold to when they do it in a certain way. And this is what you need to learn. When you're in business, you are in sales, but you don't want to look, smell, or taste like a salesperson. let alone sound like one. Now, when this was first told to me, it really hit home, because when you take the full senses, like, that's a bit of a weird thing to say, isn't it? Look, smell, or taste like a salesperson. But it really brings it home to you. If anybody gets a sniff that they think you're selling to them, they're going to push back. They're going to retract, because people don't like being sold to. And yet in business, we have to make sales. If we don't make sales, we haven't got a business. So this is where Blam comes in, to show you how you can sell without being a salesperson, or that stereotypical salesperson. To give you a process that you can go through that will actually get results, but it won't be the traditional way of doing it. It won't be the way that you think. We call it, it's our secret sauce, but it's a proven system. And if you don't deviate from it, you'll get results. And it's really important. Ed and I are very, very passionate about this, because we've both been on a journey and learning this stuff, coming from a background of not being salespeople at all. In fact, quite the opposite. I for one, the reason I hated sales and the reason I didn't want to do it is because I used to have panic attacks. And I used to, if I had to do any kind of presentation, cold calling, or picking up the phone, even though I was running my own business, I suffered massively from it. It was a genuine, fear. I came to find out it's really, really common. In fact, just a quick one. There was a guy that I went to see to try and help me with my fear of presenting. Sort of 15 years ago, I would never have been able to do something like this. My throat would have dried up and I would have crumbled. And this guy wrote a book called And Death Came Third, because when they did a survey years ago about what things people feared the most, death was the third thing on the list. Public speaking was number one, spiders was number two, and death came third. What a crazy statistic that is. So really, when you're presenting, it's a bit like public speaking when you're doing when you're going through a sales process. But when you're given a system, and when you follow that system, you don't deviate, it's a game changer, guys. It really is. So that's what we do now. Ed and I head up Blam. Focuses on helping our partners achieve success. That is our number one goal, helping partners achieve success through sales, through business mentoring, through digital marketing training, through education, through support, through our community. Blam is so much more than it looks like on the surface. We're all in it together. We're a team, and we're on a mission. We want to help business owners around the world become successful online using our AI websites and other tools. We believe passionately in our product and our service. And we believe the more people that get access to that service, the better the world's going to be. The world needs entrepreneurs, guys, and that's who we serve. A key tool for entrepreneurs is their marketing. That's how they get themselves out there. We want to be the guys behind that. So when it comes to that, entrepreneurs in general, people, small business owners, asking what problem they solve or that we solve for them is absolutely key. And one of the problems that they face is when it comes to their digital marketing, they haven't got enough time. They don't understand it. They haven't got the knowledge and skills, and they haven't got the money. I found this out years ago. It's a real shock to me when I found this out. I just assumed small business owners were pretty switched on when it came to this sort of stuff, but they're not, because they haven't got the time to figure it all out. It's so complicated, and who can blame them? We're in a revolution right now that's super fast paced, always changing, and now more important than ever, because what we've just been through, that massive transition. We're 10 years into the future, in the space of a really short space of time. We've had to leverage digital technology. How the hell can small business owners keep up with that? They need help. And that's why we're on a mission, because we want to be the world's biggest designer of websites and apps for small businesses, which is a massive, audacious goal. We want to be that because we absolutely, utterly believe that the products and services that we've got are what small business owners need. We know every time we make a sale, we've done a good thing. We're proud of it. We can't wait to get people using our products and services because they're awesome. And that's why we've got a partnership program, because we want to train as many people as possible in order to be able to get out there and help these small businesses. And that's a big, big job for us. Training and helping our partners is our core mission. and then helping them make sales the same way that we did in the past. And so that is why the foundation of what we do is all about our 3 Ys, our products, which is our AI websites, which are actually future proof. Everything is wrapped up into one system with a drag and drop editor, no updates needed. Full support is included. We do all the tech support. We provide a partner dashboard. Everything you need to know is in that back-end dashboard. It's all run off Amazon Web Servers, which is super secure, the best you're going to need, and so much more. Ed can really do a deep dive on this. They are AI websites, but that's only a small part of the story as why these things are so awesome. A lot of it is about the way it's delivered, the way they're sold, and the way that the actual partner, the Blam partner, educates the customer to be able to use those tools. But we've got loads of other tools as well that can be accompanied by these websites to help strengthen the offer and help small businesses even more. You know, apps are a massive part of our strategy. You know, they're in my blood. One of the first app development companies in the UK. I set them up way back when the App Store opened. Sold hundreds of apps. We've got a strategy that really helps. We know how an app can help a business. We know how to keep them sticky. Really, really key. Blam Social, we've got our own posting social strategy platform, which is market leading. Again, Ed can dive into this, but a part of digital marketing strategy for businesses, you need to have a decent posting strategy. And we've got an AI technology along with over 100,000 templates. That means that every time we post, you get high quality posting. That is another great monthly recurring revenue model for partners. And then local SEO. Wow, we're getting a lot of interest for this at the moment. It really is picking up. We've just been going through today, actually, Ed and I, how these packages are now improving even more. Another monthly recurring revenue model, a great earner for partners, and delivering something that is really, really needed for small businesses, and that's search engine optimization. Great packages and an awesome product. We do loads of other stuff, guys. We've got a whole back office team that deliver all sorts of stuff to do with content writing, graphic design services, blogs, you know, other kind of logo design, etc., and on and on and on. Big price list of all the stuff that we do. We're effectively a full service digital marketing agency set up from day one for our partners. So literally, as our partners start trading, they've got the full team behind them, everything they're ever going to need, which just saves such a lot of hassle because it means you get there quicker. And then our processes are a second why, and this means that our systems and training are really, really important to us, none less so than the Certified Partner Program. And that is our secret sauce. As I said, everything's bottled into a learning management system that's backed up by the team, meaning that you do video learning online, which can be accessed 24/7, at the end of which there is an exam, which means that you become certified. And every step of the way, we're there for you to make sure that you can actually action that learning. Application is key, because you can get the qualification, but if you don't know how to apply it, then you know it's not worth anything. So getting that certification actioned is really key. And then we back that up by partnering with Digital Marketer. Now, Digital Marketer, if you've not heard of them, these are widely recognized as the best digital marketer trainers on the planet, and we give every single one of their courses to Blam partners so that they can be the best trained marketers in the room. So each one of these courses is delivered by one of the best marketing trainers on the planet, and each one is delivered through video. At the end of it, you get a certification that is really worth something and recognized throughout the world. And it means that we can then utilize the products in a way that allows us to deliver the best advice, the best consultancy, because Blam partners need to be the best qualified and the most well-advised partners on the planet. As far as I'm concerned, we need our partners to be head and shoulders above the rest. So that when you get that certified partner badge on your website, it stands for quality, it stands for knowledge, and that people know that they're getting that seal of quality, and they're going to get the best possible tools and advice all in one go. And we manage to support our partners through that by our people, none more so than Ed. So good old Ed, who's day off Ed, as we're now going to call him, or Wino Ed, as he will be tomorrow.
What does it say? GDB.
Yeah, that's it. General Dog's Body Ed. He's the partner mentor, so he's the one that holds your hand. So this is the guy that actually takes you through the early stages of the partnership program. I just want to briefly tell you about Ed because he's not always been in digital marketing. He started in hospitality and running one of the big restaurants in Disneyland Paris.
High five, Ed.
High five, Ed. That's what they call him. They did back then. But Ed had the entrepreneurial itch. And he also used to have brown hair, I noticed on that picture. Yeah, but so, not anymore.
Be kind about your car.
You're Silver Fox now, aren't you?
It's called Distinguished.
There you go. There's a distinguished. That's what comes with working with us, mates. So, but yeah, Disneyland Paris was where he sort of had those dreams of becoming.
Thanks, Paul.
Of what? Sorry.
I'm just saying thanks, Paul. He's just making his apologies.
All right, no worries. So, and that's where you got that entrepreneurial itch. And you read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, one of the entrepreneurial sort of, the absolute must-read books when it comes to anything to do with entrepreneurial reading. And it said in that book, much like I said earlier, if you want to be in business, you've got to learn how to sell. And that's what Ed did. He went and did door-to-door sales, baptism of fire, most difficult thing you could do in sales, so he could earn his stripes and get to learn how to sell, and graduated through that into the various sales jobs until he set up his own digital marketing agency where he became a LinkedIn trainer. And that's where we met, because Ed was running his own digital marketing agency where he was outsourcing the work to other people. He was spinning lots of plates. And when he saw the Blam partnership program, he went through a presentation just like this, and he actually handed over his hard-earned cash and became a Blam partner. And that's really key, guys, because being a Blam partner, for you guys, you're going to go on the same trajectory if you choose to do so as Ed did. So when Ed's helping you through those early stages, he knows exactly what you've been through because he's been there. Of course, he was super successful. He ended up coaching some other partners, and we were absolutely delighted. I was delighted when he joined the team, and he's now on the management team with me, director and shareholder in the business. And we now help partners through those early stages and then ongoing with support, advice, mentoring, and just ensuring success. It's our business is to help them through those early stages. So when you're speaking to Ed, you're not speaking to somebody who's learned from a textbook. This guy has been there and done it, and it's really important to I think to get that across. And then that ongoing support is measured, and we measure it through our support system, which often runs at 100% positive feedback. When we don't get positive feedback, we jump on it straight away. That's a brilliant way for us to learn, because supporting our partners is our core project. That's what we do day to day, because we're creating tech entrepreneurs. We try and take care as much as we can for partners so they can go about the business of building their business and supporting their clients. Being that marketing consultant, growing their business is what it's all about. And they can do that from anywhere, because as we've proven in lockdown, if you've got an internet connection, if you've got a laptop and a phone, you've got everything you need. We've always done work like this. We were doing presentations like this. We were using Google Meet. We were showing people how they can pitch to anywhere in the world 7 years ago. Now everybody gets it, and they know this is the way that we do it. And our testimonials stack up. So we've got tons of testimonials, guys. They're all on blampartners.com/testimonials. I'm not going to play these to you now, but what I do want to emphasize is for all these guys that are our advocates, so Sherelle, who's a professional football player, or Tony, who started not long before lockdown and still found
children's entertainment business he had. Just quickly, guys, sorry, we're running over a few minutes, so stick with us for a few more minutes and then we'll be ready for the Q&A in no time.
Yeah, we're nearly done now, guys. But these people are from all different shapes and sizes of businesses, and backgrounds. Michael's based over in Florida. He's building a team now. He whittled us down from 2,500 franchises. Ex-corporate guy, no sales history whatsoever. He was in security, completely different sort of background. Again, Spencer, who's on a roll at the moment, he's really sort of smashing it. When I did this interview, he was relatively new to the partnership. He only had a few customers. Now he's got a big team behind him, really growing his business. Never been in sales before. You know, he was an accountant basically, and he's growing his business brilliantly. And then my favourite testimonial is Matt, because it's quite funny. It's worth watching. It'll put a smile on your face. This is a guy that talks about how when he applied the training, and this is somebody who's never been in sales. He was in the automotive industry. He applied it and got results. And this really is an example of somebody who's turned into a true entrepreneur, growing his business now. He's full-time on his business now. But he started off in full-time business, and he was full-time business doing Blam as his side gig, as do a lot of our partners. You know, not all of our partners kind of, you know, throw their job to one side and then go full into Blam websites. It takes all shapes and sizes. Some people, you know, it's their side gig. Some people, it's their full-time job. Some people, it's somewhere in between. Our job is to accommodate our partners and give them the best advice to help them reach success. Achieving success is our key. An example of what our partners, you know, can end up like is, I was so, you know, touched when one of our long-term partners, Sarah, wrote this in our Inner Circle group. We've got a Facebook group just for partners. And right at the beginning of the first lockdown, she wrote this in the group. She said, I have to say, Grant, I'm hugely grateful to Blam for encouraging me to build a business based on a recurring income, as I'm hoping it will help me weather this storm more easily than other businesses. I'm feeling very sorry for lots of people. And that means that when we went into lockdown, she had to homeschool her child, which meant that she wasn't able to go out and make sales, but she had a recurring revenue. She didn't need to make sales to earn her money because her money was already coming in. And sure enough, that's what she did. And it meant that, you know, she had security. And that's really what we're talking about, guys. And let me just explain how that works. So this is based on an average package price. And when we talk to partners, by the way, we talk to them and advise them on what they sell their websites and apps at in terms of what price they sell, because they've got their own business and they've got their own price list, and we help them define that. It's not like a franchise where everything's set in stone. We work with the partner to get the right pricing for them. We advise. So this is based on our basic advice of just selling a website for like $100 a month, $130 a month US, or it might be 170 Canadian or £199 a month UK. And if you sell 4 websites a month, which is kind of what you should be aiming for, 1 a week, and you just sell 1 app and 1 social media package or SEO package, if you do that for 12 months in a row, your recurring revenue, that means the money that comes in, a bit like Sarah, would come in every month, even if you didn't make any more sales, would be 6,600 after you've paid us, or 7,000. That's sterling, by the way, 6,600. If you look in the turquoise boxes, or in euros, that'd be 7,800, or in South African rand, it'd be over 100,000 rand. You know, US dollars over 8,200, or Canadian or Australian, you're talking over $10,000 recurring. All based on, you know, the basic amount of sales, you know, 1 a week over a 12-month period. And obviously that would double after 2 years. So what I would say about Blam Partnership Program is that it's not a get rich quick kind of business. There are other upsells that come with that. And, you know, some partners make their whole fee back within the first couple of months because there's upfront fee charges that you can do for consultancy and other things that we can train you on. But ultimately, what this is about applying the process steadily, month on month, following the system, and you get that recurring residual revenue that actually covers all your overheads and then grows and grows and grows until you've got a really solid business where the money keeps coming in. And persistence and consistency, it really is the key, and following the system, and that's really what it takes. So that's the end of the presentation, guys. I'm now going to talk about the actual partnership program in terms of costs and what you get. I hope you've enjoyed what I've done. Just to quickly recap for those of you, if you don't become a Blam partner, I just hope you can have some takeaways from this, such as think about your USP, you know, your blue ocean scenario. What is it that makes you different? Monthly recurring revenue is the key. And if you go into business on your own, if you are in business, remember you are in sales. Even though you don't want to sound, look, taste, smell like a salesperson, you want to get a system, a proven system, and follow it. So yeah, thanks very much, guys. So for those of you that are still here, if you're still listening, thanks for staying. If you're on the rerun as well, I'm going to run through the deal that we're doing this February. It is a limited offer, so I'm going to run through this. So if you are watching it on the rerun, do get in touch quickly, because like I say, the offer is limited, and I'll talk through exactly what that means at the end. But to start with, let me just tell you what's included on the package. And first and foremost, I've talked about it before, it's the certification. So this is our learning management system delivered to you so that you can actually learn exactly how we do it at Blam. Our secret sauce, it's the way that we make sales, it's the way that we do the presentation, all the learning and everything behind it, coupled with the management team backing you up to make sure you can apply it. Because anybody can buy a course and do the course. Making sure you apply the course is absolutely key, and that's where the accountability of us comes in. And then you've got the Facebook training that we do every week. So every Wednesday we go live and we deliver training every week. We did a presentation yesterday to the team. It's 4 o'clock UK time. It's worth over £2,500, and for us it means that we're engaged with the community every single week. Access to the exclusive Blam partner deals. We do deals every month, and it means that those deals are designed and developed so the partners can go out and make more sales. So we've got the Valentine's deal that we're running in February, now extended to the end of the month, and partners get half price deals from us so they can go out and do deals with their customers. This always gets results. Blam Social and the is the training system behind how you actually do your own social posting for customers, or they can do it themselves using the Blam Social system. Full resource center, everything you need for Blam Social is included. It's worth over £2,000. It's included in the system. Then you've got the accountability program, which means we're all involved, every single partner, in a multi-mind group. So you'll be partnered with 4 to 5 other partners, where once a month you get together in a group and you talk through your challenges, you talk through your wins, the roadblocks. You get stuff done. Spending time with like-minded people who are in the same position from different parts of the world at different stages in their business is absolutely invaluable. It's absolute gold. It's worth over 5,000. It's included in this and today's deal. And also you get your own brand, so you get your own logo design based on your requirements. We taught you through how to go about coming up with the logo, the company name, the logo. We'll then design a website and an app with all the enhanced and bespoke features that go with it. Worth over £2,500. That is included in the deal, as well as weekly sales webinars with myself and Ed. And that means every week we go live on a Monday at 5 o'clock UK time, training you how to sell. Really, really important. And then we've got the digital marketer training system, all 11 courses. Which is actually now 12 courses, because they're updated regularly, and when new ones come out we get them added. If you buy them online, it's over £5,000 worth of courses.
I really want to show you this, guys. This is awesome.
It is,
really is.
It really is. These guys, you're talking the best marketers on the planet delivering these courses.
Don't need to train anything else.
It's absolutely, yeah. You'll never need to buy another course if you join Blam digital marketing. You get everything you could ever need, I promise you. And then bespoke marketing materials as well. So we do all your business cards and your leaflets and all that kind of stuff. We design all of that for you. Plus, in today's deal, we've got a deal today that absolute gem of a deal. That's why the February deal's been so popular. We've really been on a roll this month, by the way, guys. That's why we've only got. In fact, do you know what? That's just reminded me. I forgot to update the presentation.
Two spots left.
Sold one this morning, so I forgot to update the presentation. But anyway, I digress. Do it for you guys. We do it for you. That means you do not need to know anything about coding, development, design, anything like that. Our team is your team. This is worth its weight in gold. The way Ed used to have to do it when he ran his own digital marketing consultancy, he had to outsource the design, the development to freelancers. If you did that based on our sort of average target of 1 a week, you're going to be spending at least £48,000 just on the website design, let alone anything else. So we do this for one low monthly fee that starts once you start selling. So you don't pay anything until you start using that service. And it is an absolute bargain this month for the February deal. So just keep your eye open for that at the end. So the value of everything that we're doing here, is huge. It's over £82,000, in US dollars, that's nearly 120k, or 2 million rand, 98,000 euros, you know, over 150,000 Canadian or Australian. So the value is huge. And you know what, we're actually doing this at really a fraction of the price of the value. And we're even in February doing a massive discount off our normal deal. We call it our Valentine's offer. It's no wonder it's been so popular. Normally we're 15,000 or 15,000 sterling. However, this month we've knocked a third off the price, and we've also knocked the same, well, actually 2/3 off the monthly fee, which has come down to £99 a month, which really is a mega deal. So for £10,000 this month, it does say 3 slots there. I do apologize, there are only 2 slots left. We did sell one this morning to Mr. Mohammed, who's going to be a proud Blam partner, I'm pleased to say. And the US equivalent, that's 13,500 US, 18,000 Canadian, 11,000 euros, 200,000 rand, or 18,000 Australian. I say we're limited to those slots. Now, if you're in the UK, we're having a lot of people go down the route of doing a payment plan, which is actually funded by the UK government. So we've had lots of success. The UK government are running a grant at the moment where this can be split over 5 years if you want to split the payments on the upfront fee, which just makes it a no-brainer. If you are elsewhere in the world, we do payment plans. So we can talk about that. If the upfront fee isn't affordable to you, then don't write it off. If you like the sound of what we're talking about here, payment plans are available. But again, let's first of all find out if it's for you before we get down to that kind of conversation. And we can do that by doing a demo with Ed. So as I said, on the sidebar, there is a link to Ed's diary where you can book in with him, and he'll be able to give you the deep dive. If after that you really like the look of it, and you may need to have a chat with me as well, but if you really want to go ahead, the key thing is to lock this deal in. What we need to do is get the proposal out to you, get that signed so that we can lock the deal in, and then whatever it might be, if it's funding proposal or it might be a payment plan or the upfront fee, we get the agreed initial payment sorted, and then the onboarding begins. You could be up and cooking within 2 weeks, because if you apply yourself to the training and you really hit the ground running, you could be up and cooking in 2 weeks. Typically, we tend to find it's more like 30 days. Very much depends on the way you apply yourself to the training. We'll work with you either way, but we do limit the spaces. I say there's only 2 left because we take on 6 people a month, guys, because Ed and I are hands-on, and that's the capacity that we can manage, and quality is very important to us. So I'm happy to take questions. Appreciate your time and attention. Sorry we've run over a bit today, but glad to see you're still here.
I know.
Happy to answer questions.
I know. It must have been my high-fiving at the beginning that caused all this delay. But sorry to keep you a bit longer than normal. But thank you for sticking around. John, do you have any questions? You're on mute. Unmute yourself, please. Unmute yourself. Just hover down the bottom of the screen to just.
Could do
yes, sir.
Not right now.
Wonderful. Thiso, you okay? How you doing, my man? Cool. Thiso's on mute. And yeah, great to spend some time with you today, John. Would love to explain a bit further on the deep dive. So when would be a good time to have a proper look at this?
I was trying to book something with you for next Tuesday, my only free time.
Yeah, when's good for you?
Around about 10.
Is that Eastern time?
Yes, UK time. 10 a.m.
10 a.m. UK time, Tuesday, the 23rd.
From the UK, are you, John?
Yes.
Okay, whereabouts?
Milton Keynes.